We'll switch off halfway through perspectives, and then I'll just jump to the other person whenever I see anything that is of note to me. If that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cute. Good place to pick up pads for the big boost here. Just making sure you stay close to the play. Yeet. Not a bad idea. I would have expected him to do something quicker too. But if you see him waiting, you can get a turn on this. This is pretty solid. So, Kinder. Well, it doesn't really matter because we don't get a piece on the ball. But at this point, Kinder, you don't necessarily need to be this far away. This boost in the back, which obviously it looks like it's not even there. You don't need it in any way. So generally, staying closer in a situation like this where you're expecting Epic to challenge would be better, so that you're more likely to get a free ball when Epic either 50s it, bumps the opponent, something along those lines. So obviously he doesn't get the touch, so it doesn't matter because you're by yourself anyway. But I mean, in all honesty, being closer is still not bad because you have to shadow anyway. So the longer you're shadowing, the more likely they are to screw up. So being closer doesn't lose you anything. But that's really only if the challenge works. It doesn't really matter. If it does, if you happen to know, good luck. If you happen to know for some reason it's not going to work. I just want you to ask yourself, with Kinder already in this corner, well, no, that makes sense because he could leave. It's a good bump. You want to be very careful about double committing into the corner here because then it just means that there's no passing option. So even if you can get this ball before, well, no, honestly, if you can't get this ball before Banny over here, then there's no reason to go because a 50-50 in this position is only going to be detrimental. So if you can clean beat him, that's a decent idea. So just be a little bit aware of that because in twos, you got to be very careful about like over-committing as a team, basically. Which is basically all that happened there. Just want to see the read in particular. Unfortunate. Well, time to time. Did you guys have comms on this? Do we happen to know?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. We don't usually calm that much, honestly.
Which is fair. In twos, it's kind of one, so not a huge deal. I just would have expected you to go for this epic, or to push it, because Kinder, you can't defend the net very well from where you are. So you leaving the ball accomplishes nothing. If neither of you can reach the ball, it's better for you to go and force them. So there are both in threes and twos, there are many cases when going at the ball just to pressure the opponent is better than just leaving them all the open space. So instead we have, like, it'll be fine because Kinder gets a free read, but there's a little bit of a threat of this guy jumping up here and reaching it, and now you effectively have one defender instead of two because you gave him all this free space. So if some way, somehow you know that this guy's not going up for it, then sure. But if I'm in this guy's position, I see this ball, I'm so going up for that, like 110%. So and that's going to be a little bit threatening for you guys if no one's following. So you can go a little bit wider here. You, after landing with 40, want to make sure you maintain boost, and then you want to get back mid for epic in case you can support it. Ball like very much mid, but it's super hard to read something like that. So what I've found is that there's kind of this idea of getting baited into a play you shouldn't be going for. That happens very often when you take too tight of a rotation and you start to see that the play could happen, but you're in a not very good spot. So you commit to the best case scenario, and then when the best case scenario, the okay case scenario, doesn't work for you anymore. So in a situation like this, when you land here, if you pick up at least this pad before you start to turn in and look to see what's happening, it's going to be much better. It's going to keep you wide so you don't overcommit with your teammate. And then you let this play develop, and then even if you turn in early here, you would have hopefully been able to recognize, hey, we don't really have a threat or a clear of any kind. Let me just go ahead and stay here. Oh, and look, now we've got the free ball. So going wide early when they don't have much of a play is good, especially because this boost pad in particular isn't all that wide, but it is just enough that it would probably buy you that space you need. This one's pretty wide, and you wouldn't be supporting Epic very well, but it would still allow you plenty of time to get all the way back. So like for twos, I'd say at least space out to probably this boost pad and then decide, as long as you don't desperately need boost. This would be like a threes rotation where you would pick this one up before you did anything else. So staying close is good, but you're just in this case a little bit too close. So that with that turn especially, now you're way too close. So you have to back off because you kind of got baited into Epic's first touch. So now you're in no position to cover Epic's actual pass, like the actual scoreable play. It's not like you can really predict that. Sometimes a lot of the times the scoreable opportunities just kind of come out of nowhere. So that's why zone coverage can be pretty beneficial. Oh no. Cheeky idea, but possible. Yeah. If you turn for that, you get it. So one player there, two players there. They're both committed. So the second Kinder beats this guy, you want to be hard pushing whatever scoring opportunity you can. So you pick up this boost, you continue turning towards their net. You do that, you score. So just make sure that you're being cognizant of where both of the opponents are. Because when they're that far out of the play, doesn't matter how much boost you have, you're going full tilt towards the net. And in this case, that would have resulted in a goal. Spacing. Good boost curve idea. Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. In a 1v1, if he's got the net covered, make sure your first touch isn't towards the net. If you aren't going to immediately blast it in a top corner, your first touch needs to be towards the right backboard, or it needs to be a fake touch to the left. Fake touch to the left would have screwed this guy royally. You just turn a little bit left, go. If he reads it at all, you just get a low 50-50. Ideally, he doesn't read it, and it just kind of goes around him, and now you've got an open net. So this looks like you're going for a first touch right here, is why I'm saying this. So a first touch should never be towards the net on any kind of dribble play. That just gives them too easy of a read because you're going towards where they're already coming from. When you decide to make your first touch not go towards the net, that opens up your opportunities. It makes it harder for them to cover that space, and it provides a lot more space for full out plays, like full on fakes into them whiffing, which is, of course, as nice as getting around them is. Getting around them on the backboard is kind of a hard double touch for you. Whereas if you get around them to the left, you just have a free net. But both are good options. I can understand this rotation, Kinder, so this makes sense. Definitely make sure you're getting that boost pad at the very least. slow double jump area. You tapped the A button twice too quickly, and then you didn't have your nose back at all when you went up. Here, I think do you know what kind of touch you're going for? Like, what's your plan here? When you see...
Tap it down around him,
Okay.
I guess.
Are you trying to go for kind of a light tap, or are you trying to kind of pinch it so it actually gets towards the net with a little bit of speed? Both are
Probably
fun.
the pinch, I guess.
Don't second guess yourself too much. If you know where Epic is, which you might realize he's behind you, then the pinch is not necessarily a great idea, because if it goes too fast, he doesn't get there in time. So, just recognition of the options. I kind of like the slower tap. It might be something to be said about going directly for the dunk here. The one good thing about the pinch is you get there quicker. So at this point, you're kind of needing to adjust for the block, which I think you almost do. He just holds it out for a half second. So that's all fine. A little faster aerial, and I think that you arrive here quicker with the same amount of precision, where you don't necessarily have to hard blast it, because you can slow down once you're halfway through. But at this point, your aerial, you hit the brakes long enough and you aerialed slow enough that you kind of, if you want to beat this guy, you kind of have to boost to compensate, which will make it so that at your point of contact, you'll be going very quickly, which is probably going to be a hit over off. So, just a couple ideas. Nice. Good idea. Demo. Play. Really good play. Nice job, guys. You definitely have the boost for an air dribble here if you wanted it. Just gotta meet it closer on the ground. With a little more momentum, maybe even a double tap opportunity if you really hit the juice on it. But this is really good because you get a follow-up 50. It just needs to be a slightly better 50 and you're golden. What were you about to say?
I was just saying, yeah, I mistimed that.
No worries. Yep, all this is really good. Just you can see how far to the left you are on this 50, so you're not going to be able. If you win this neutral off the sidewall, this is really good for Epic. As it is, that 50 and that bounce are both super unfortunate, and he still did pretty well. So good job. One of the places we're going into the net here. Kinder screws you. You driving all the way towards the front post here basically tells me that you need to either make a god save and be top tier on your reads, or you just need to play patient in net. That aerial doesn't instill confidence in me because you don't have very much upward momentum. I think at this point you kind of realized you were screwed, so you adjusted to go for the block. But if you want to make this read doable, instead of being here, you want to be here. You come back from this angle a little bit further, and then you see, oh, this is way off backboard. Let me pause further out for a second, and now you go up for this ball. And that's going to be much, much easier of a read. And your momentum will allow you to get in his way on the off chance that he still beats you to it. And you can just block all the angles. But at this point, honestly, when you're going this far into the net, I would almost say it would be better to just slow down, turn, drift a UE here, because they're not scoring immediately. It's still going to be a tough save, but you might actually have a chance to react to it, because in the air you can only pray that he hits it into you. Controlling that would be nice, but definitely a difficult touch. I think there's something to be said about waiting this one out, Epic. Sea Braves has 0 boost and his teammate has 30. So in a case like this, it's heading towards the sidewall a little bit. If you had instead waited and driven up the sidewall, you could have hard banged this before any of them could get to it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a difficult thing to see, 110%, because you see high ball and opponents near it, but on kickoff, they all have low boost, and even if they do decide to go up for it, there's no shooting angle for them here. So worst case scenario, they just hit it off the sidewall, and you get the read, because only one of them is going to have boost.
I was going to say, I think I could have gotten a better initial jump and maybe tried to aerial it a little better.
That is true. That is definitely true, but that's still going to be a relatively difficult hit.
Yeah.
That doesn't keep us possession. Whereas if you had like driven up the sidewall, you can bang this to the right side of the pitch where Kinder is.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely a couple options, so good point. Hindsight obviously not ideal, but I don't hate the idea. If you don't know if he's challenging or if you think you beat him, I think prioritizing hitting it towards their backboard is probably smarter rather than putting it too far mid. Or just do it softer. Just because you can see how close Kinder is. This is not an easy read for him at this point. So if you single jump it, tap it lightly off the sidewall, that should screw up the other guy, the opponent, if he's challenging. And then if he's not challenging, like in this case, Kinder can then get the read. Nice. I like that. I'm going to score that anyway, but it's about the best you can do in this situation. So yeah, boost would be nice. Hindsight says that we want to take the boost pad line instead, but he's also on that, so we might get demoed or bumped. Or maybe we could even demo him, which would be awesome, honestly. You cross though, you pick up a pad or two. If you cross a little, if he, like for instance, if Kinder had called that he's going to dribble it, or if you happen to know Kinder's going to dribble it, then you can leave here. And this would potentially give you 1 boost pad, and then if not, another 2 by the time you need to turn. Because you don't turn till almost in line with this. So you turn here, you can probably still get close to that, something along those lines, because you'll be there earlier. But besides that, maybe you could have turned a little bit earlier after you picked up the small pad, but that's about the rotation you want to take here. So it's good luck, just really unfortunate 50-50. I don't think. Yeah, like you had a good touch, just Kinder happening to be there screwed you. There's not much you can do about it. There wasn't you having 12 boost and Kinder not really having anywhere else to go. Like, yes, ideally he shouldn't have been right here, but I can't really say, Kinder, that you should be somewhere completely different in this case. So it happens sometimes. Rip. It's a little jumpy. Trust yourself. You do see that your read's a little bit off, but if you had waited this out another moment, your nose was in a decent spot, and you could have just like not flipped or something along those lines. Sorry, I stretch. But That was a good play. Good idea. Good. That's fair. It's a little close. Almost a pass. If I'm jumping for it, so I understand. But that's just going to actually go in. No, it's not. That is so unfortunate. So there's this. That's off the wall because psionics reasons. Yep. Close. Close to very good shot. Where's Dead Man? Once again, especially in twos, you can wait out your opponent a lot more. Like, it's something you can honestly do in threes to great effect, but in twos it's even more important because where is this guy going? This guy's going to your corner. He has no extra control. Worst case scenario, he gets a pinch. I don't even think that this guy's going to ever manage a flip reset from this setup. So if instead of you jumping here, and especially because you whiff, you spawn 50 boost, you see him going for this, you don't jump, you waste 10 boost to get underneath the ball so he can't pinch it past you, and then you 50-50 it into your corner where hopefully that boost will spawn. Now you have a free ball and 100 boost on your sidewall, or in your corner, up the wall, where they're going to have a hard time challenging you. So that's at least, if you can manipulate his landing to do that, that is basically your optimal play there. Obviously this gets you 0 boost and nowhere in terms of defense. So if you can hit that ball, then I guess it's okay. Like, it's a start. It's better than whiffing. But even still, when you hit this ball here, that's just going straight to Sea Braves for the most part. Unless Kinder decides to make a really daring cut, which might work. But if he gets out 50-50, then you guys are guaranteed getting scored on. So you regaining possession in your own corner is by far the best, by far the most optimal outcome from this play. As you kind of see how, like, the patience factor is, there's some potential for a patience application of patience, I guess. I don't know how the frick you want to term it. So you being so far front post here, Epic, baits you into, you aren't sure if this play works or not. So because you aren't sure, you're too close, and then you have to turn away. So this is relatively similar to what I was talking about on offense in terms of getting baited into a play. If instead in this play you take these 2 pads, you pick up this pad, and then you stay further back post, you wait here, now you're pushing with him as this 50-50 comes out, and then he gets the beat. Now you're supporting Kinder instead of being back here. This is the second time I've seen you. The other one honestly made more sense. I can totally understand the other one, but it still suggests that you're getting too close and having to turn back because of it, which is ruining your offense. This is just this is the more blatant one. The other one, like, the other one made tons of sense, and as much as it was unfortunate, there wasn't much you could do about it. This one you can do something about it, and that's if you stay far enough away to not get baited in. And that basically just means prioritizing back post more. Even when low boost, there are boost pads that will take you further back post, and then it just requires patience from there. You can see how this guy, go past him. This guy waiting you out, if he was better at the game, would have just given him a free catch and dribble. And most likely he could have flicked it over Kinder if Kinder decided to challenge, which would have screwed you guys. So definitely, like, when there's no threat, no immediate threat, wait out the play, wait for a better time to strike, especially if you have a teammate behind you. Trust that they'll have the harder angle covered if you can't manage it. And then after that, it just comes down to having the mechanics to exploit that opening you've made. And if he could have done that here, you guys would have been in a lot of trouble. So take examples like that, apply it yourselves on defense, especially on defense, also, and honestly in the midfield and sometimes on offense. Nice. Let's go. That was clean. I like it. I like it. Definitely be going forward with him when he's got a free touch, especially in twos. In threes, I like having the person closest to net be as far away as possible. In twos, it's not really the case. You want that closest person to net happens to be the second man, and an actual effective second man needs to be close to the play. This one it won't matter because you get there in plenty of time, but there will be cases in which it will matter. So you defaulting to staying close when we have full possession is better. Which basically just all I'm saying by that is turn forward instead of turn backwards. It does require you to have a better read on the play. It's possible that you didn't recognize that this is a free touch until now. But if you can learn to pay attention to whether or not it's a free touch, that will then lead to, okay, if it's a free touch, I can turn forward. If it's not a free touch, then I'll continue to turn back. Which turning back is great when you're under pressure, but it's terrible for offense. More boost pads, give you more boost in net, and ideally not put you so far front post. Yep, because you're going to get screwed by that. I think it'll be fine because you're 0 seconds, but like, assuming this isn't 0 seconds right here, there's no threat. There's nothing. There's no player. There's no hard read if you just let this hit the wall and then bounce on the ground. In all honesty, if this isn't 0 seconds, you catch this, take it up the sidewall, and as long as you get it over Banny, they are going to be in a lot of trouble because you have full boost from this 100 pad most likely and a lot of speed and aggression. Even so, with it being at 0 seconds, there's no pressure on this read. You shouldn't even be this close yet. You want to wait until after this bounces, significantly after this bounces, so you can actually get the read on it. To be fair, if you are ever, like, I'm probably going to post this on YouTube, if anyone out there ever finds himself in this position, or a similar one, where you are very close front post and you have to go, then I would agree meeting the ball on the wall is the easiest read you can get. Because now you don't have to read which direction the ball goes after. You just have to read where the ball touches the wall. But if you can't reach that, then you've just screwed yourself. Because now it's an unreadable ball because there's no time for you to react. So, ideally, you recognize I'm last man. I have nowhere to go. Kinder can cut this. If he takes it slow, if he takes a shot, then I can be as far away as I want. You should be prioritizing back post further. Back post further means that you see Kinder turning here. You don't get baited into this challenge. This still happens, and as Kinder was challenging, we'd start to creep forward, and now we've got our easy read right here. And you would have gotten to that just fine. really going to be like that. Well, as much as I hate to say it, there's nothing else to say here. Just score it and you're good. I would love to be able to help with something else, but that's really all it is. You score, you win. You don't score, you lose. So sometimes that's just the nature of the game. All right, let's go ahead and jump over with, we'll do a quick one from JD Mayo's perspective. Where am I? There we go. Okay. Look at that, I think. Orange wins. Okay. Do a little bit from JD Mayo's perspective just to get something in, and I'll probably post on YouTube. But for you guys, was there any questions about anything we looked at for your games, your game in particular? Hello, Eva. Epic.
I didn't have any.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't have it either.
Just for a pretty short recap, I definitely say make sure you guys are supporting each other more, and then be careful about getting baited into plays. In twos, you need to stay close, but if you are too close, then your option coverage goes away. You want to make sure that you can be close enough to strike without sacrificing your coverage. So that applies to back post in many cases. It applies to offense. Besides that, make sure you guys are supporting each other. You need to stay relatively close. I think I only saw one specific example where Kinder, you're kind of far away from when Epic was making a challenge. Just as an overall idea for you guys, in twos, you want to maximize the effectiveness of a single player, which means that you want to stay close, but let the closer person to the ball make as many challenges as they want until they rotate out. Ideally, that person close to the ball is smart enough to recognize when they should leave, but you want to maximize your effectiveness, get the entire use out of your boost, and then ideally, at the end of whatever you're doing, that first person gets a relatively soft 50-50 towards the mid, and that's where your second man will strike. And that's how you can be really, really effective by supporting each other. But you have to be close for that to happen, and you have to let that first man, in some occasions, make some pretty awkward challenges. So you have to be willing to let them develop the play. So Epic, for you, in some cases, trusting Kinder in the corner, or just being more patient so that you can cover both options, and both options being when Kinder wins or when Kinder loses. For you, you tried to cover Kinder's win too early, or like the passing play too early, and so you had to cover only when the Kinder losing situation, because you got there too early to tell, so you had to guess. So you guessed defense, which is the safer option. So I support the decision you made in the circumstance, but ideally we don't want to have to make that decision, if that makes sense. So anyway, we'll try and run through this relatively quickly. I don't hate it, but just because the pop is going nowhere near the opponent's net, this is just wasted boost, and we have a teammate over here. Kinder should be taking the middle boost, so we want to get this to Kinder if we can. I think you did take the middle boost, which is fine. Let's read something then. So like right here, this is pretty good. In like threes or something, if I'm in Kinder's position and I see this, I'm probably going. But in twos, there's no rush. The other thing I wanted to stress, you play patient. Let the play develop, especially in twos, really important. For example, we talked about it a few times for Epic's perspective in particular. But in a play like this, there's no rush. This guy can't do much. So rather than committing 2 players to front post, we have Kinder wait back post and just let JD Mayo go whenever he's ready. So that's the kind of like letting your teammate be fully effective that I'm talking about, because Kinder's allowing him to do that in this case by picking up this boost, and then he just waits back post instead of pushing early, because there's no need to go. So good on that. Get 50-50, get the boost and go. Yeah. So this would be a case where comms are probably pretty good, but here I would say I mean, it does kind of depend, but Kinder, you can see Mayo the entire way. Mayo can't see you. So it's your job to call him off, or this would be a case in which I would say, let your first man be fully effective. He hasn't rotated out yet, so even if it's going to be dumb, let him do what he's doing. Because this ball is probably not going to do quite this if you don't go, and then you can collect it for free if it doesn't work. But you guys double committing like this is oftentimes going to result in either an awkward defensive stand or just a goal for your opponent. So good coverage on it, but in twos, it's that maximizing the effectiveness of you guys as individuals. And so when you commit on something like that before he rotates out, you are not an individual. You become one individual, which is worse than two individuals.
Yeah.
So anyway. Read. Oh, chicken. Why am I glad I don't kick off without ball cam off? That would make me sick. Control the double. Not a bad idea. The nitpicky part of me looking mechanics-wise, try here. You need to get more height and more power towards the backboard. So for Mayo, you let me see, we're at what point. Good, good, good. Now here, you want to drive down the wall, or at least a level out for a second so the ball gets above you. And then you want to get some momentum back up into it. So you can actually, in that case, launch it towards the backboard and make it much harder for the opponent and make it more likely that you are able to get there yourself. You don't, especially in that case, you don't necessarily need to flip into the ball. Or on top of that, you can use your flip after you hit the ball to reposition without using boost. Because you're probably going to have to waste a little bit of boost to get that good touch. This is still fine, and you actually get a really good pop on it, but it doesn't have enough separation from you, so it's a little bit too easy for Sea Braves to read. But overall, definitely a good idea. Bump's a little cheeky with low boost, but I don't hate it. Not a bad idea, just for getting them. It was scary. So, maximizing the effectiveness of the individual. At this point, the individual is spent. Kinder, you have no way to get to this ball before Banny does. So Mayo needs to recognize that, and if he's going to be this close, he should just send it. If he's going to be this close, then there's no reason for him not to go, especially because I'm pretty sure he actually wins this outright. But that is, of course, hindsight. If he's maximizing your effectiveness further, he should have never been this close in the first place, so he wouldn't have wasted all this boost faking, or fake challenging, and putting both of you guys backwards on defense. Because now they're just going to get over one of you for basically. Luckily, he just kind of messed up something like that. Control the Mayo here. Get it. Nice. See how he prioritizes the small pads over the big pads. It's a pretty good idea in twos, honestly, because it keeps you close to the play. So, and like we talked about, the importance of supporting your teammate. If you're padding so you always have 50 boost, you are always basically going to be supporting your teammate, which means anytime they get a 50-50, it doesn't matter how unlikely it is to happen. If Mayo's doing this consistently, he will be there, which is definitely a positive. 50-50. So that for me is a questionable time to go and get boost. You have 24 here. The ball is going forward and you have plenty of boost on your route. So this is a time when I would say definitely continue to pad. If he wanted to get the big pad, he should have gone for it. Okay, it popped up right then, so that makes a little bit more sense. But if he could see it earlier, then he should have just gone straight for it. He did recognize that it popped up late, so he saw ooh shiny, decided to go get it. Which
and maybe one day you'll meet your soulmate.
Soulmate, huh? So a little bit of the maximizing effectiveness idea here. Kinder, as long as you understand that you are first man and you kind of have to get a touch on the ball, then even though this gets awkward, Mayo just needs to go mid or turn back earlier. Or how awkward is this for you? So I'm not gonna lie, that looks a little whack, but I think he just pulled off because he knew he was there. Now you saw there was no passing option because he wasn't there, so you decided not to hit the ball. Okay, so yeah, from Mayo's perspective, here is fine. You just want to wait here because it's Kinder's job to do something with this play because he is close. He has decided to challenge, which means that is his responsibility. If something goes wrong and it like pinches straight into the net, that's on Kinder. That's on you. It's not on Mayo. So his job is to let you be effective as an individual, and then on top of that, if he can, maximize your effectiveness as a team or just position to cover after you have made your play. Both of which he's doing neither by being this close. He's not covering your pass. He's not covering defense very well. He's not covering your 50-50 very well because now he's got too much momentum and is too close. So when you recognize that he's not there, you back off, but by then it's too late. He got baited in. So because he got baited in early, now he's not ready for this weird option that we weren't expecting. So if he doesn't get baited in, then this is still a free ball for him. So that's how important like giving a little bit of extra space is, just so you don't get baited into sacrificing your options. Good shadow. You can see his patience here. And then as long as he actually jumps in that final instance instead of getting demoed, he's in a really good spot on defense. So this is good, this is good. And then right here is the ball you jump for. Because all you have to do is get any touch. There's no way he pinches this to the opponent. He doesn't have enough speed. If this opponent decides to demo him, jump and demo him here, then there's plenty of time for Kinder to get back because Sea Braves is not going to be able to touch the ball again when he commits for this demo. So jumping here, getting any touch over Sea Braves buys all the time you need. He's still got boost. He's even got a chance to follow it up himself again. So this is where you jump. He did patience. He did it really well, but at this point he's gone too patient. He missed his good chance to challenge. When you play patient, your entire purpose is waiting until that perfect challenge. He found it, didn't go for it, and got screwed. Luckily, you guys got scored. This game are still covering. But yeah, dude, you sucker. Could probably get that demo here if you wanted to. This is fine. Better control would be nice, but the idea is decent. I'd say here he's getting baited in again. There's just not any reason to be this close. If Kinder can make the play develop, then he's going to be able to get there. He's going to be able to reach the ball he needs to, starting from here. But now him being this close just opens up space for this to get over his head if this guy hits it hard enough, which he kind of does, because that's kind of an awkward, do nothing but waste boost area. Bye. Good Samaritan boost. Too bad Chivalry is dead. And once again, got baited in. So he does low boost here, which makes it more awkward because he kind of has to be closer if he wants to be effective on this play. But it kind of also comes down to him boosting a lot of boost. That 30 boost right there was not necessary. He didn't go anywhere he needed to. If he waits behind you here, Kinder, and keeps that boost, now he can get to this ball if he needs to. But what he will notice is, oh, this guy's got this read all day. There's no reason for me to be here, so I'll just back off early. Looks like the other Banny was hunting a demo, so if he gets demoed, he'll get scored on anyway, but if he can dodge that, he's probably good. Right. Boost pads would be nice. If you're going to miss anyway, might as well pick up boost pads on the way to your miss. This is good shadowing. Kinder wasn't back yet, so him going close and then doing a shadow like this is great. And if he can get a good 50-50 to the right, Kinder's in a perfect position to turn. You guys have good offense. Otherwise, winning this in any way, shape, or form is positive. So in this play, JD takes his challenge, after you make your first challenge, your first priority should normally be to get boost, to get enough boost to get ready for a play. He picks up a pad, but he easily could have picked up 4, and we can clearly see that Kinder had a perfectly good angle on this ball. After you make your challenge, generally trust that your other teammate is going to be there to cover. It's that you maximize your effectiveness and then you get out and get yourself in a position to be as effective as possible on the next play. If Mayo immediately comes back in after he makes his play, he's not going to be as effective as possible because in this case he doesn't have enough boost. So it's much better here for Kinder to take the ball. So Mayo, in all honesty, I would almost rather see him take the middle boost that we saw in the middle right position here, as long as he trusts Kinder. If not, he should at minimum be taking this boost pad, and one more boost pad over here, and then letting Kinder hit the ball. No matter what, he shouldn't be taking this ball. I'll let you handle it. Good idea. He didn't get baited into the play, so now he at least had the potential to like take control up here and put it over his net a little bit safer. Or I should say specifically in a way which he could follow up himself. Like that, get 50. Practice. Better touch there would be nicer. Decision making wise, it makes sense. Whoa. No way. Where did this guy come from? What is that?
I didn't see that before.
Drove up the post. This man is practicing his striker moves and then just happens to find you and says, "What's up, babe? Bye-bye." What in the world? How does that work? Anyway, besides the point. So let me just check this real quick. Yeah, for the most part, just patience. If there's any potential he beats you on this read, you don't want to be going up for it because you getting a 50-50 here isn't that good. Most likely, it's not going to be that good. So instead, if you steal this middle boost here and back off and let him hit it to you or your teammate, then that's going to give you guys much more free possession, and then we don't have only a single person on defense. In terms of how the defense was actually played, shadowing solid. He's a little bit too far away from Braves here. If he gets bumped, he's screwed no matter what. But being that far away means that he is stuck on near this sidewall with almost no momentum. Anytime you've got that low of momentum, you're basically asking to get bumped down. Nice, good stuff. Finger's got the moves. Oh, good idea. I got actually got a pretty decent block on it. Okay. Almost got baited in there, but last second exactly what I actually saw. Okay, seriously, so yeah, that's fine. Patience. Patience. This guy is going to have another touch before JD Mayo can reach it, so he wants to reposition so he can read after the second touch. If you can meet them at the time of their second touch, then yes, go early. Or if they're air dribbling, you just have to go as early as possible. But this is the kind of play where he would like to get a piece of this if he can, because Banny over here only has one option. Well, technically two. He can either hit the ball like this and no other way, or he can fake it. the fake doesn't get him very far because both of you would be close in that case. But otherwise, this touch that he just made, he gets no matter what. So if you wait it out and let him get that touch, you can have 2 players ready for it instead of 1 forcing, basically. Unfortunate spawn. So it does kind of begin from here. That this man and his bumps. No reason to be front post here. There's no immediate threat. We don't know where Kinder is. We can't read this ball for whatever reason. Like, you probably could have, but he only had 24 boost. If he waits a little bit longer in net, I think he even used a little bit of his boost, yeah. So just wait here. Don't boost in this case. Wait for this bounce to happen. That's a free ball he can totally reach with 50 boost, 110%. This is completely free clear if he waits long enough in net to let this be readable. But now that we're here, he's got low boost because he got here too early. He had to slow down, which lost him momentum, so that's why he can't reach it, and now we're screwed. So that's just end of the line right there. Now we get scored. So once he's in that position, there's not much he can do. He's low boost. He's got to get a read somehow. But if you wait patient in net a little bit longer, when there's no threat and are really just looking for the opportune time to strike, you can clean things up a lot, both on, like, I mean, just overall, just patience. It's always a good idea. It's a really good idea to incorporate into your gameplay. Now, you can't play overly passive. That leaves too much space. But if you can get a read on what's happening and then wait for your better time to strike, you'll be a lot more effective. Anyway, does that make some sense? Any questions, comments, concerns? Tell me what you're eating for dinner tonight. I don't know.
Pizza.
Nice. Oh, maybe I should order
Unsure.
I need to go freaking shopping. Heck. All right.
Same.
Any questions? Peanut gallery? Alrighty.
I'm late to the party, but no.
All right.